Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to this April 26th through 28th edition of Show Business. I am joined by a poodle, a barking poodle. My name is CP.
And my name is Dino of the Late Late Horror Show.
And I am Lindsay of House Pankhurst. My channel is my 2 cents of nonsense, and I'm still recovering from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we can't talk about that either.
I just said recovering, okay?
Right.
Yeah, so this is the first week. If you check us out on YouTube, every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're live on my YouTube channel, Williscredia, youtube.com/C/WILI/live if you want to join us on Monday night. And this is the first time we're doing the After Hours show over on Dino's channel, which is the Late Late Horror Show. Link will be in the chat on the YouTube page. Yeah, 10 we're shooting for about 10 p.m., right?
Yeah, I set it for 10:15 just to let us,
Yeah, it usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes to set up. Yeah. So this week, After Hours will be over there, and this should be the beginning of the proper schedule. So for those of you listening, you have 2 places to go on Monday night.
Woo! Yay!
So anyway,
there's no place or no business like show business.
Show business.
Yeah.
I know business, I know. I think that's going to be fun.
Avengers Endgame just barely missed it. Just barely missed beating Avengers Infinity War by 1 million. A full 100 million. It almost. So the new record is 357.1 million. Avengers Endgame, which again last year, Infinity War was the highest grossing opening weekend with 258. So 99 million more to the next available record.
And the plot hole ain't one. Hit me.
Hey.
Nice.
and other movies apparently played this weekend. So obviously Endgame is first. Captain Marvel
bouncing up the second again. Yeah, wow.
Holy manoli.
Yeah.
Something told me. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, CP.
No,
something told me, even though I didn't pick it, that it would somehow get a boost, and I just didn't register that.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So people just said, "Hey, let's go watch Captain Marvel."
Yeah, it's the second best thing. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I guarantee at least 3 million of that 8.3 was people saying, "We'll go watch Captain Marvel, and then we'll go watch Endgame,
right?
And we'll be all caught up, nice and fresh."
It's actually amazing how many of my friends have been asking me the last week, do I need to watch Captain Marvel to see Endgame?
No. Oh my god.
Yeah.
People thought it though, probably. I bet you.
You're probably better off
we'll get into that.
You're probably better off watching Guardians 2 than Captain Marvel, but
actually they're both pretty useless. But no, you're right, because Nebula becomes a good guy in Guardians 2. You're right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I apologize.
Right.
So Endgame in first, Captain Marvel in second, 8.3. The Curse of La Llorona in third with 8 million, 8.1 I think it was.
Good for them.
Breakthrough in fourth with 6.8, and Shazam in fifth with 5.6. So of that top 5, 3 of those movies had comic book characters. So, man, you guys really sold out this weekend.
Well, you could say the characters in The Curse of La Llorona were so poorly written they were comic book characters.
Hey. Oh, so that 3.57 was domestic. Worldwide, it is at 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
So, Lindsay, you want to drop some knowledge on us about how
amazing?
What? Go ahead. Stats us. Give us the stats.
First of all, that is a big number. In case anyone had any allusions to that, that is an astoundingly huge number.
It's gigantic.
Just to throw some context on that, only 4 movies have hit 2 billion. So we are this is pretty much guaranteed to do that. So this is going to be the 5th movie to hit $2 billion. It's only a question of when. The other $2 billion movies are Titanic was the first. It did that after about 74 days. And now since then, the movies that have joined it are Avatar, same director, so of course, and The Force Awakens, and Infinity War, which just makes sense. Of course, Disney owns 3/4 of the highest-grossing movies of all time. I mean, why wouldn't they? And the other really big, interesting figure is only one movie has ever hit 2.5 billion. Avatar, obviously. So my question is, and this, this is going to be interesting to see, is this going to be the second $2.5 billion movie? Avatar did it in 76 days. We're already halfway there.
In 3. Halfway there in 3.
Yeah, no, I definitely predict this will. I think it'll surpass it. I mean, definitely.
I think Avatar's currently at 2.7 or 2.8. I think right now is
the total. That's the finish line for this movie. It's 2.8, I think. I think if it takes a month, I'll be surprised. If it takes a month for it to hit 2.5 worldwide, I really, because we're, like I said, we're halfway there. It's 1.2 already. Like that's nothing.
Yeah, I'd say it may take a month, but it definitely will make it and surpass. Yeah.
So Avatar became the fastest movie to ever hit $1 billion when it did at 19 days. So
sweet.
We're 16 days faster.
They're so cute at that age.
Right? So innocent. So we're already moving at a pace of about a little over 5 times faster. So 76 divided by 5, just for fun. 76 divided by 5, 15 days.
Really?
If we keep on track, 15 days till it hits that 2.5 billion.
Wow. Huh.
I see.
I mean, I could be horribly wrong, but
yeah, I don't think so, because like it's made 1.2 in 3 days. Let's just say you cut it in half, and it only makes 600 million this next week. That's still 3/4 of the way there with 3 weeks to go. Like, and then you keep cutting that in half. It's gonna do it. Within the month.
Assuming it falls off a half. Like, I mean, this is an extreme example here. Captain Marvel, its fall off from last week, 8.7%.
Well, that's Captain Marvel who had like a weird boost.
Oh no, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's possible this movie only falls 15% next week.
And this is all structured by, there's a thing they're doing. This just is how cinema is right now. I mean, it's easy to boost a movie like this, which the Star Wars one will probably do, get the same kind of hype and stuff like that. I think. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
No, I just love that you call it the Star Wars.
The Star Wars. I mean, my point is, this day and age, it's not hard to pump up something like this and make it reach the numbers that it's reaching. I mean, look at this week. You're 357, and you drop all the way down to second place in this month to 8 million. I mean, it says something about the marketing and how they work this. So. Monopolies.
Wait, speaking of monopolies, we're starting to see a lot of talk about the mixture of Fox and Disney. But go ahead.
I dropped out for a second. You said 357 to drop to 8 million. I missed
from first to second. I was just making a point at how they the process of how these studios
$49 million difference between
the fall.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like, what do you expect? I mean, it's been advertised and promoted this way and worked, and they know this is the film. Let's push everything else aside. This is the one film that's going to just make everything this weekend. So
And this next weekend, like, looking at the movies that are coming up, I mean, maybe it's a little premature to get there, but we have The Intruder. Looks okay. Kind of a breaking and entering creepy movie with Dennis Quaid. Long Shot, good old Seth Rogen comedy. It looks like it's just a remake of Knocked Up, but sure, why not? And whatever Ugly Dolls is, I keep hearing about that. I don't know anything about it, but
it's an animated movie, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no heavy hitters.
Well, what's strange is they're all getting pretty decent screen coverage. I mean, The Intruder, which has been advertised for way too long, if you're asking me, like 2,200 screens is kind of surprising to me, because they've they've been advertising that for forever.
Did it get pushed back? I feel like because I feel like
it's a dumb place to put it if it did.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's a smart one, but I had the same feeling that you do. That I've been watching this trailer a while. Why is it only now coming out?
Yeah, and it's strange. It's like three movies that really. I mean, I guess this is their best excuse to say, well, we weren't supposed to win anyway. So it's three of those movies where it's just like also ran, and it's just strange seeing three movies released this weekend, all getting 2,000 plus screens. Guys, I hate to break it to you, but when Avengers sells out, your shows are going to get canceled.
They're going to just put more people for Avengers than can you do that?
When I manage a theater, yeah. If
that's awesome.
If we had shitty numbers, if we had shitty numbers for shows that were in a big house where you could fill it up with, the overflow from Avengers, we would just cancel the show, give refunds, and say sorry, maybe next time. But we got to sell that popcorn.
I love it. That's so awesome.
Tell you what, I might have to stop my audio. Doesn't seem to be stopping with the lagging there, CP. Just letting you know. What should I do?
Oh, I'm having trouble on the stream.
Oh, it's totally messing with the stream.
Right, so kill your audio and I guess we'll have to figure something out for the future. The future. Sorry guys, we were trying some new tech for the podcast, and apparently we can't chew bubble gum and chew bubble gum at the same time.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah. All right. So,
but yeah, no. Disney owns the world, and they're just gonna keep making all this money, and we're all just gonna be wearing Mickey ears one day as the trackers follow us around.
Yeah, I mean, if you cut 357 in half, what's the matter?
I said, there we go. All streaming's smooth now. Yeah.
Cool.
What? If you cut it in half, it's
like butter.
178. That's 178 million. That's if it just does 50% next week. Again, just domestic. 178 for a second weekend.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's. I think it's out there. It could happen. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, I'm still looking at theaters being pretty much selling out one after the other and same amount of theaters. So yeah, it's.
I checked earlier today. A lot of the showings tonight are pretty full at my local AMC. But here's a question: will Detective Pikachu be able to unseat it? You don't think so?
Pikachu's what, 2 weeks from now?
It is 2 weeks from now. Yeah, so it'll make 178. So if it goes by the rules of
it'll make 80?
That's the question. I mean, it's a Ryan Reynolds movie. He's hot as he's ever been right now, which is something because he's always been hot. Hey, there's that screwdriver I was looking for earlier. It's Pokemon, which has such a built-in audience. The live action aspect is going to bring in even more people. It's a kids movie, so that's going to be even more money.
Yeah.
Almost full. Yep, there it is.
I'm seeing the same thing here, man.
Monday night, almost full. Yeah.
On a Monday, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, kooky McDookie.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if it'll blow past 80, but it's got a good chance of, making 100-ish, I'd say.
And this is just with the common mentality that, cut it in half. This movie could pull in like 210 next weekend.
And that's true, yeah. Watch, it pulls in 400. Everyone goes and sees it 3 times.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it like the records that this thing's going to break already has broken is quite awe-inspiring. I don't know, like I kept telling people that I've been speaking to, this is it. This is our Empire Strikes Back. For every time that somebody who's a little bit older than us says, "Oh man, when we used to line up around the corner for the 10 o'clock Psycho showing," like this is a big deal.
Well, I was telling you a little bit ago about how things were different back then, like Star Wars, when Star Wars first came out, Empire. I mean, if you adjust the same numbers, I mean, first of all, in that era during the late 70s, 80s, there were like 10 times more theaters across the country. First off.
Now.
So way more viewings.
Wait, now?
No, then.
You're saying there was more theaters back then?
Oh yes, you had drive-ins, you had local theaters. It's when the bigger theaters started taking over and all the smaller ones started shutting down.
I think the screen count is probably the same because back then it was like duplexes and quads where the most theaters in a building was 4, but now we have like 8 plexes and 10 plexes and 15 plexes. So I think the screen number has kind of been the same. It's just the building.
I'd have to dive into that a little bit more, but
please do.
I was back then, and I remember the hype with lines around the block, and I understand what you're saying, so it is something I would have to look into. But I mean, whereas I've got a big theater to the east of me and to the west of me, 20 years ago even, there were 10 theaters within this local area, a drive-in too, a couple drive-ins. So, the access and the ability to see movies more in the day, helped. Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's an interesting point. Like here, in Pasadena, there's an ArcLight, which is a couple bucks more than your average theater for no real reason. They think they're fancy, but they're not. And there's legitimately like fancy theater that's like $20 a ticket, if not more. I've never actually been there. It's like I'm not paying $20 to see one movie. But back when I was a kid, there was where the ArcLight was. There was like a Regal, and then out that way there was actually 2 movie theaters like right next door to each other. Now one of them is a Trader Joe's, and the other one is a gym. And so outside of like the expensive theaters, if you're just trying to go see like a movie like Avengers, not at the expensive theater down here by me, you have to actually drive 15-ish minutes down the freeway one direction or the other.
There's no mom and pop movie theaters anymore.
Like there's a $2 theater for movies that have been around for a while, but that's like for things that have been
old rundown things. Yeah. The thing is, you can't be a mom and pop theater anymore because movie theaters make their money on food, and nobody's going to go to Joe's movie theater and pay $5 for popcorn or $10. Like they're just going to sneak stuff in. Like they don't understand that, those rinky-dink theaters aren't making money off you buying an Avengers ticket. They're making money off, buying their slightly old Sprite.
Week old hot dog still twirling in the little heater.
Oh, yeah. Looks like a Slim Jim now.
Yeah. Is that good to eat? No.
Is this a Twizzler or beef jerky?
Mommy, my stomach hurts.
Ma'am, you left a Twizzler on the grill there. I don't know if you're supposed to do that. So Lindsay, I asked you to scoop up some fun statistics as pertaining to speed and records. So there used to be like Star Wars. So as far as domestic is concerned, fastest 2, 300, 400, 500, all those 100 millions has been owned by Star Wars Force Awakens, but not anymore. So we're at 357. Lindsay, why don't you give me the fastest to 350 number and how many days it took Force Awakens to do that?
Man, I'm so excited.
Oh geez, I seem to have lost that tab.
Of course.
I'm gonna
television.
Drink Dr. Pepper then.
Let's just vamp for a minute, and I'll get it back. Because
fun fact,
the Star Wars, the original,
yes, sir,
was back in 1980. Was the first movie to ever make 500 million worldwide. And so it's funny then that that franchise would actually hold that record more or less on 2 different occasions.
And that's unadjusted, right?
Yeah.
See?
No, that was back then money. Yeah.
Think about inflation and the adjusted, ticket price.
It had a couple of dances at the ball too, though, because it got re-released in the 90s. So that all that stuff counts.
Shut up, CP.
Okay.
So currently, the fastest to like 500 million, like the top 10 for that. This is such a silly list.
Well, go on. Share your feelings with the group.
Oh my God! No,
yeah, what do you consider silly, Lindsay?
That's right. No, this is coming back to me. Well, first of all, there's two Fast and the Furious movies on the list. So let's just start with that. Endgame obviously is in number 1. Infinity War is obviously number 2. Fate of the Furious is number 3. Force Awakens is number 4. Your movie, CP, Jurassic World, is number 5.
Hey!
Then Harry Potter makes an appearance with Deathly Hallows Part 2. Last Jedi, good for it. Hey, despite everyone in the world hating it and it being terrible. Hey, look at that.
I hate this movie. Take my money.
Exactly.
Ooh, the Blu-ray's out.
The one I really like. Why is this movie on this list? But I guess it makes sense, and it's kind of adorable. Batman v Superman.
Oh, this is worldwide, right? That's
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In 7 days, Batman v Superman hit $500 million. Good for it.
Wow.
I didn't know it did that well. And then they got Furious 7 and Beauty and the Beast rounding us out.
And what was the fastest to 500 million currently? Number 1.
Endgame. Oh, I mean, but yeah, Infinity before Endgame was Infinity.
Oh, again, worldwide, right? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, but domestically, good place. Yeah. Domestically.
Yeah, I'm shocked with those Fast and Furious movies.
Worldwide, I mean.
Here we go. Okay, so
follow the dialogue too much. It's just
Tokyo alone. Yeah.
This is the thing I was upset with myself for losing right here. So the fastest movie currently to hit 50 to $350 million is obviously Endgame. To hit all those milestones, but to hit every other record after that is Force Awakens.
Yeah, that's what I led with. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
That's what I said.
To get all this together here.
It's fine. Just keep riffing. You're fine.
Oh yeah. No, it's wow. It's just startling to see all these movies are Disney's looking like fastest movies ever to $50 million on the list. You got Avengers, Star Wars, Infinity War, Last Jedi, Age of Ultron, Black Panther. Fastest movies ever to $100 million. Basically the same list, but you throw in Captain America: Civil War and Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah. So get me 500 million domestic, and how long it took Force Awakens to get there.
It took Force Awakens 9 days. Oh, no, that's 450. To get to 500, it took 10 days.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Wow, okay.
It's going to get beaten. It's just by how quickly. I mean, we're 143 away from 500 now.
Yeah.
And it's still selling out here on Mondays, so who knows...
Yeah, by Friday it's going to be there.
Yeah. So it'll be within a week. So
like it might only make 150 million at the box office next weekend, but by the end of that weekend it'll probably be damn close to 2 billion.
Yeah.
But,
Roger in the YouTube chat says Avatar ? And it wasn't fast, Roger. That is the heavy king, but they took their time getting to those big numbers.
Yeah.
76 days.
Yeah. Lazy.
Wow.
Yeah, lazy. He stopped, took a nap a couple times.
Yeah, Avatar's a big
turned
deal.
into an overnight stay.
Yeah, Avatar's a big deal, not a fast deal. Is any of that there, Lindsay? The Avatar numbers, how long it took? Because fastest to 500 million domestic, Force Awakens is there. But where is Avatar in that list?
So I've got the list of all the box office records set by Avatar. There's so many of them. There's a Wikipedia page dedicated solely to it. But do you want worldwide or domestic?
We'll go with domestic. Piss on the rest of the world.
Yeah, you know what? That's I'm down for that.
No, I'm
so okay. So the lowest that this has is fastest to 500 million, 32 days.
Ooh.
10
That's
times
domestic?
faster. That's domestic. Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
And fast. And how long did it take to get to a billion domestic? Oh, it doesn't say actually. It stops at 750 million. That's interesting.
People weren't sure how to take Avatar. They're like,
Well, back then, like it was, everyone was just like reeling from the fact that James Cameron made the highest grossing movie of all time. Took 10, 12 years off and made the highest grossing movie of all time.
right.
That must.
And I was trying to recapture that magic with Avatar 2, and it's gonna fail.
Yeah. I don't know if people are ready for Fern Gully 2 in Super.
Electric Fernaloo.
Well, the part that people forget about Avatar was it was kind of a shtick movie. It was a gimmick movie that was for all intents and purposes was a sight to be seen. It was a great gimmick, but the movie itself isn't, it's not up there with.
Right.
Well, it was lightning in a bottle in like almost every aspect. It was the director who made the highest grossing movie of all time's follow up to that. It broke new ground in terms of visuals, in terms of what we were seeing on screen and how it was made, and it basically redefined production of a lot of things and brought 3D back from the occasional gimmick to a perma gimmick that we're still seeing 9 years later as a mainstay of.
Sort of.
Yeah,
it's pretty mainstay. Like Endgame's in 3D, right? Every major movie comes out in 3D. Whether or not it's worth it to do it for every movie, every major movie is in 3D.
That's right. I did see The Favorite in 3D, so you're right.
Okay, well, okay, yeah. Okay, artsy movies clearly aren't in 3D. And I love the fact that Mad Max Fury Road was not in 3D. That was awesome.
I'm still waiting for that Schindler's List re-release in 3D because that's.
It's like the red on that girl's coat is coming right at you. So
that gas tank hit me in the face.
So all of those elements together are why Avatar did so well, despite it kind of being not the most original movie ever. It was just, and plus you got Sigourney Weaver, who's a fan favorite. You got what's his name from Aliens. So
of course, what's his name?
No,
what's his name?
Yeah.
Aliens.
On the poster.
Mad about you, that guy. I'm just saying,
Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser. Yeah, it was a fun cast, fun director. There was a lot of things going for it that allowed it to become what it became.
Yeah, I'm curious how the new visuals will look and how much better. I mean, we know it's going to be better, but how much better?
Watch, it's worse.
It's.
I wouldn't.
It's just a movie, first of all, but
is it?
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's an experience.
Avatar, yeah, so Avatar was an experience. It was, this is really neat. This isn't blue and red 3D. They've revolutionized 3D. I don't think he has that trick up his sleeve again, which might have something to do with why it's taking so long.
Unless they're really are upgrading 3D to the next level where you don't need to wear the glasses and you still get the effect. Well, I mean, supposedly the reason they can't do that is because it's just impossible to calibrate the 3D for all those different perspectives.
Yeah.
But maybe he found a way to do it.
Yeah, you'd have to completely redo movie theaters because the projection would have to be catered to where you're looking. And if you're listening on the podcast, I'm moving my hands in a way that signals different angle. I don't know how to describe what I just did.
Layering.
Well, if you're on the right side of the room, the theater, the screen would have to be angled to its left, and if you're on the left side of the room, the screen would have to be angled to its right. So, for proper 3D to work without glasses, it's got to be a different, almost literally a different experience for every seat.
So it's almost like maybe
it's all about angles, right?
Do holograms.
Everybody at once.
It's all about angles, right?
Yeah. Well, as far as 3D is concerned, sure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You have a 3D TV, Dino?
I don't.
Do you?
Oh yeah, no. Yes, I do, and it's flat though.
Yeah, no, but if you watch it from a different angle, do you notice how it gets a little blurry?
No, because I watch it like straight on.
Well, next time you have something in 3D, just take a couple steps.
Go to the next room and go. Oh, this is shit.
This damn wall's in the way.
Well, it doesn't look right. In the theater, like when I'm watching a movie, sometimes if I tilt my head to the left or the right, or angled, like the glass, it's noticeable. It's instantaneously noticeable too. It's not even like it takes a second. It's instant.
So Dave Cave in the chat, what's up? He says, everyone I've spoken to about Endgame has talked about seeing it again at least one more time in the next week, not to mention those who haven't seen it due to it selling out. Yeah. That is a brilliant point. We kind of teased it earlier. I don't think it's going to drop off 50%. You're probably like 200 million second weekend is probably very possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say so.
Lots of revisits, second viewings.
I don't have my calculator. I'm trying to see what the percentage drop of 200 would be from 357, but yeah, it's I would say like 40%.
Like a 42.4.
That's very possible.
And honestly, 2 more viewings, man. I know people that have seen it 3 times. Friend of the show, Luke Ryan, unless I'm mistaken, has seen it 4 times.
Oh, Luke Razorwire? Right. I remember
4
him
times. Wow.
I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet that said 4.
He saw that terrible Last Jedi 9 times in the theater, so
9. Oh, that's amazing.
Good for him.
I love it. Okay.
John Kyle Stanton, hi, in the YouTube chat. Don't you think Avatar made humans act like we did in the 1800s? Hopefully, that far in the future, we'd be a bit nicer to blue people. We'll never
treat the depressed right. It's just never going to happen.
Save that for after hours.
Blue people.
Yeah. Eddie D in the YouTube chat says, I think it'll get 130 tops next weekend. So that's
still pretty good.
Yeah, it's a really good second weekend, but even that's a 66% drop off.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah, about that.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
No, I think this is one of those rare instances where the second weekend is still going to be like really amazing. People are going to come out again and sell out the theaters on this coming weekend, I think. So.
Well, it's either that or watching Seth Rogen hook up with Charlize Theron. So you might as well go see it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it's not like anything that's coming out is even thought of as a genuine threat. But
or 55-year-old Dennis Quaid,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming after the intruder
with the loose Donald Trump.
The red hat.
metaphor.
Yeah, every time I see that trailer, I just can't take my eyes off that hat.
A white guy doesn't want black people in his house, and he's wearing a red hat. He doesn't want to leave his house. Uh-huh.
His House of Representatives. 2 on the nose. 2 on the nose.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, it was very nice subtext by. I can't wait to see it. Oh wait, Nicholas does have a point. Ugly Dolls is a threat. It should draw some of that family money away. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. But it's not like anything. Like if Godzilla came out this week, I'd be like, that'll be interesting to see what that does. But this is like a generational. This is what, a decade of movies coming to a head. No, 12 years or 11 years. Yeah.
So 2008, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of a payoff of sorts. Lindsay, I'll try not to speak on it. Dino was one of the people that was locked out due to it being sold out. You got to buy that stuff like 4 hours in advance, Dino.
I know.
Even more than that.
I know.
You got to buy that stuff like 84 hours in advance, man.
I literally just showed up to the theater. It's like, okay, what's the earliest screening with seat I can stomach? Okay, that one.
Yeah.
I had to wait about an hour, but I liked it.
Terrible.
Yeah,
You liked it.
No, I thought it was really quite good. If there was any major complaint that I would lodge against it, that I think is actually like a real knock against it and not just nitpicking time travel, because who doesn't want to nitpick time travel? Thanos was really boring in this movie in comparison to how he was in Infinity War. He was a much more generic, much more forgettable, much more cookie cutter villain, and that was a little disappointing. But other than that, I really like the movie.
Well, didn't they go back and get the like an earlier Thanos? So
yeah,
it kind of went towards his character a little bit. Maybe
he hasn't gained his charisma yet.
Yeah.
That's a great way. Maybe that's entirely possible. He hadn't learned how to actually be an interesting person.
Yeah.
That's why he waited 6 years.
Or in the context of everything that was going on. I mean, to go back and get an older Thanos, it's like, or a younger, whatever. Yeah.
Well, in the first one, he's all about, like, hey, I have this thing I want to do. Here's the reason I want to do it. And, it's like, it's bad reasoning. It's bad logic. It doesn't make sense. There's other ways to handle this problem. But it still makes him a compelling person because he's got a pseudo-philosophical thing he's trying to do. He's got, like, actual, like, thought into what he's trying to do. It's not just blow things up for the sake of blowing things up. But in this movie, he's just blowing things up for the sake of blowing everything up and rebuilding everything so he's God. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't care.
Hey, I know in the comic books, Thanos and Galactus and their interactions were always the greatest thing that I read in those comic books.
Yeah.
And, I would have loved to have seen something like that happen. And maybe in the future it might. Who knows? But, yeah.
In defense of the movie, which, man, I'm defending a comic book movie, guys.
This is exactly what I wanted.
Write your local politician.
Damn you.
This Thanos, the end of Endgame, this guy isn't ready for the power that because he's essentially going to get something from the future. He's not mentally prepared for what's about to happen. So, he's just going on things that people are showing or telling him about his future self. So, of course, he's a little off.
Right.
He had his arc in the first movie, which is I thought was quite incredible. Not the first movie, excuse me. Infinity War, the first half of this little saga.
Well, he's really I love that argument that he's the protagonist of Infinity War, because he has a goal, he's trying to accomplish it, and he does. I guess that's a dope twist on a movie.
Who would you say the protagonist of Endgame is?
If I know, Arya Stark.
Do you think there were too many storylines going on in this movie?
No, I mean, it was like it was like a season-long season finale in 3 hours.
Yeah, the first act is dealing with the misery that is the effects of Infinity War.
Well, first there's the prologue that's cleaning up.
It's Infinity War .2.
It's the expansion pack, It's the DLC for the game that you bought. You get those last couple levels that they had to charge you an extra $10 to get.
Right.
And then there's a time jump, and that's when the first act starts. At least that's what I think. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah. And then the second act is this time heist movie.
Which was dope. I loved it. I loved it so much.
The third act is just a giant orgy of action and wrapping everything up with this giant fight.
That sounds good.
And I can't wait to hear Dino's opinion on one moment in because actually, so there's a serious SJW moment in this movie. Where like all the ladies unite together. We're like, we'll help you fight Captain Marvel. And it's literally every woman in the MCU is in this shot, and I hated it. But I didn't hate it because it was SJW. I hated it because it's all these women saying, "We'll help you, Captain Marvel." I'm just sitting here going like, I think she's got this, guys. I think y'all are going to slow her down.
Yeah.
And so it's like, in order to have this moment, they had to break the fiction of their own world because they wanted this moment. And I'm just like, but okay, cool, but why build it around Captain Marvel? Like, have everyone go and save Shuri. Have everyone go and save Wasp. Why is everyone going to unite around Captain Marvel? No, just...
See, was that necessary? Was that necessary?
No. I wouldn't have minded... If it was a better handled, I wouldn't have minded it, but it was horribly handled, and so I have to call it the fact that I hated the SJW.
So again, we're stating here that the worst part of this movie is that scene with Brie Larson.
No. He didn't say the worst part. It's a wince-worthy moment in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
the part that really bugged me too is how many of the women in that shot aren't actually like unique heroes, but just like she for he. Or no, they're just like the female version of Iron Man, the female version of Ant-Man. It's like it just really draws attention to the fact of how few characters outside of Black Widow of the female persuasion actually have like real relevance in the Marvel universe. Like, yeah, you got Scarlet Witch, yeah, you got Captain Marvel, but the rest of them are really like D-level heroes at best when they're not just copies of male heroes. So it's just like
they just needed as many female heroes in there as possible. Yeah.
It was just awkward and bad. It wasn't unwatchable.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. It could have been better. It just was handled horribly.
No, it does. Like, they literally take a moment to stop and gather all the females, and it's just like, guys, you're in the middle of a war. Does this really need to, like? I mean, there's this huge sacrifice done by a female character that, why not hang the hat on that scene and
all the female superheroes to the left. Oh, the male superheroes did all right.
Yeah, no, like a bunch of the girls like charged the aliens at the end, saying like for lady who made sacrifice.
Yeah,
that would have been cool. Like
yeah,
all the weak ones gathering around weaker ones. I shouldn't say, but I mean, Wasp isn't that
tertiary
good.
characters.
Yeah. The tertiary. Yeah, like what's Okoye gonna do in that situation? What's Shuri doing in that situation? Like I'm pretty sure Captain Marvel could handle this. Why is this moment here?
So I would say that it's kind of dual protagonists. I mean it could be more. I think Nebula has a really extensive arc in this, and maybe not an arc, but her story is quite interesting in this movie.
No, I loved everything they started with. Nebula and Guardians 2 is the best part of that movie, and the way they've paid it off and continued it is just she's a great character.
And if not her, then definitely Tony Stark. Tony Stark's got a nice little bookended. I don't know how to put it. It's emotional. It's emotion. It's a hell of an emotional movie for Tony Stark at the very least.
Really good acting from Robert Downey Jr. too. Like when he's kind of in the beginning, kind of gone, kind of trying to find his place, but you know what I mean. Like it was just a really interesting note. He's done so many different things with Tony Stark. Just so many. Like that character has just had such a crazy journey to get here. It's been
he probably put a lot into it. I mean, technically, this is his fond farewell, right? I mean, then we're going to get new stuff, right? New actors, new everything. So
yeah. At least a couple.
Poor Robert Downey. Yeah, he's a little emotional. That's all. He'll be talking to somebody.
The character was emotional.
Yeah, it wasn't Robert Downey on set being like, guys, put me in more movies.
Well, he put it into the character. Yeah.
Lindsay, do you think that this movie's worth what will end up being a rather large record holder?
Oh, sure. I mean, just for what weak villain aside, awkward moments aside, like it's still an incredible culmination, and just all of these things coming together, and like the fact that it worked when so many other things have tried this and it's failed so horribly, and the fact that it's not just. I mean, it is a big mess, but it's a mess in a good way, and it's fun, and you're able to follow the characters, and there's emotional beats. There's so many moments in this movie that got to me. And not even like big, like epic, like fight winning things. So many small moments between just like two characters or one character looking at something. And it's suddenly just like there's so much weight behind it because we've seen all these characters get to this place. It's just
I want to know though, Lindsay, did you cry?
I mean, I wasn't like full on sobbing, but tears did go down my face several times. Yeah.
UCP?
Like, I got choked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not in the right part too. I got choked up at an embrace between two characters.
Was it very early?
No.
Oh.
No. It was.
Oh, okay.
No need for secrets here. What part was it?
It was emotional. Well, I don't know if people watching or listening.
Right. No, let's just be careful.
It has to do with Tony Stark.
Okay.
And it's it's not a moment that it's not the end of the movie. It's not the beginning of the movie. It's somewhere in the middle.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's a very, very good moment. That whole scene was so good.
Well, you know what? I'll say this inexplicably. Tony Stark has a photo of him and Spider-Man in his house, and he looks at that with a bit of emotion. And there, I'll leave it at that. It was sweet to see that Tony Stark cared about Peter Parker like that. That was a neat little thing, and that wasn't the moment that I was choked up at, but do the math.
Gotcha.
Fuego, what's up, Fuego? He says something in the YouTube chat. I'm not so certain we'll ever get a moment of this magnitude monetarily ever again. I agree. And another thing that I saw people saying was that a lot of the fight scenes were probably CGI'd and green screened.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt, to his credit, whether or not he gets in trouble for it, he posted a video on his Instagram today, and he's just panning through like this wreckage scene, and there's heavy hitters there, like Robert Downey Jr.'s in the scene. Like it's not like
Thor was there. I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of these actors, and they're waiting. They're getting direction and stuff, and they're waiting to start a scene. It's clearly a behind the scenes thing while they're shooting, and and all the actors, you could tell that they were, just kind of wowed at it. So, like it's.
Well, there definitely were actors that were clearly like not there that much. Like, there's a reason why we don't get a shot of Gwyneth Paltrow in the suit, like face in the suit. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why that shot's not in the movie. And just a few other little things like that. But you're right. No, like everyone really did kind of bring their A game for the Endgame in a lot of ways. Not no one felt like they were obviously like green screened in after the fact. Just because like there was no ghost is just suddenly standing there to compare us to Game of Thrones this season. Just if anyone gets that reference, it's for the most part, everyone really wanted to just make the best movie they could, and it worked.
I think maybe 2-3 years from now, when monetarily ticket prices go up another couple bucks, and the next big wave comes out. People are going to be going, holy shit, 400 million? They're talking about this on opening weekend? It's going to happen in relatively, like
pretty fair. Because all the huge opening weekends have been in the last couple of years. I mean, Force Awakens was only 4 years ago. Last Jedi was a pretty big deal, even though everybody hated it. And Infinity War was just last year. So
wait till they kick this whole thing off again, Disney and
I don't know. I think this was a perfect bunch of happy accidents. Like they needed so much to go right to have this play out the way it did. And I would say if anybody at Disney/Marvel said they saw it going a little bit better or something like that, they're out of their minds. Because this is a pretty big win.
I mean, and a lot of it came to really good decision making too. Like, they never really committed to anything for a very long time. So, like, if people didn't care about this character, they just axe him off and never bring him up again. It doesn't matter. Or they never went so hard into the Infinity stuff until maybe Age of Ultron, when everyone admits they went too overboard. Where they could at any time they could have just been like, oh, okay, never mind, we're not doing Infinity War. There's so many moments where they could have just cut that off and just gone off and done something else with a different villain, or gone off and approached it from a different angle. But where, Batman v Superman, the Dark Universe, stuff like that, they committed so early into hey, we're going to do this. But they didn't know if anyone wanted it yet. And then when they realized that they didn't want it, it was too late and everything was ruined. It's like the same thing that happened with the Defenders. They planned on Iron Fist being this huge part of it because Iron Fist has such crazy deep lore, but then everyone hated Iron Fist. But then they had already shot all of Defenders, so it's, what do we do? Go back and reshoot our entire TV show, or do we just deal with the fact that we messed up?
Yeah, so I kind of special for my patrons. We recorded me dragging Lindsay, not Lindsay.
Say, hey.
I'm looking at you. Me dragging Emily through the Avengers movies. Last week we kind of crash coursed Avengers, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, right before we saw Endgame. And there was moments in the movie like when there's these applause breaks for some person coming back, and 2 or 3 times she would lean over and say, "Is this really a big deal?" And I'd say, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Like the movie rewards people who have watched the entire 2021, whatever the number is of movies. If you manage to catch every episode of this ongoing season, they really paid you off. Whereas if you're not somebody who's seen all of these things, you still get a decent story. You're not lost per se, but you're still just fine. They managed to make a movie that felt special for somebody who's been there for the whole ride, and still be. I don't want to say it's not like you'd be lost. You'd kind of need to see Infinity War before this, at the very least.
Yeah.
But they do a really good job of making a movie that you don't really need extensive knowledge of the previous movies.
The MCU.
Oh, Ryan Strom, $10 in the YouTube super chat. Thank you. Just wanted to say thank you for all you guys do and how much I appreciate all of your channels. Well, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much. That means a lot, man.
If I had a cheering audience right now, I'd press the button.
Oh, all right. So we're getting...
Actually, CPU, I had a quick thing while you were saying all that stuff. I was kind of listening to it. It was very interesting. But
you said something about words or.
Oh no,
I was waiting until you were done so I can
talk. Franchises
talk.
of all time, right here.
Okay.
Guess what number 1 is?
Franchise?
To the highest grossing film franchises of all time.
Bond?
No.
There's
Bond.
Star Wars.
Bond's not very high on the list, actually.
Really?
Bond, yeah. I guess it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9th.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to say okay, it's Marvel. Okay.
What were you going to say, Dino?
I was going to throw in Fast and the Furious franchise since so many of them are up high on this list, but.
Oh, that's a good question, actually. Where is that on this list? Star Wars is number 2.
Well, that's my first guess. That's what I said. Star Wars. But
it's funny. And 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15th. Fast and the Furious is 15th.
Oh, geez.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that movie just makes dumb money. Like, and there's 8 of them. So.
Hey, let's put another one out.
Yeah.
Wait, is it? Oh yeah, I guess the Fate of the Furious was the last one, so they haven't done the finale.
Well, this Calvin and Hobbes movie's coming, and that's going to be part of that.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Called.
Hobbes and
Shaw, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Sorry for all you
Idris
fast
Elba's
heads.
like a robot in it or something. The movie looks amazing.
A bizarre way to segue.
Too
Fast, Too Furious was directed by John Singleton, who sadly just passed this morning. Only 51, which is
so
really,
sad.
really unfortunate. One more time, Dino?
Oh, it's so sad. I mean, like a week or 2 ago, he had a stroke and just, went into a coma and, passed away this morning. And news came out a week ago that I believe his mother had to take control of, like, everything, like assets and stuff
They took him off life support this morning, and he passed slightly afterwards.
And director of one of my a movie that I think very highly of, Boys in the Hood, too. I mean,
so good.
Very, very good movie.
He wrote Boys in the Hood,
right, yeah, writer director. Love the movie, man.
He has a bunch of movies that are kind of underappreciated, I would say. I love Higher Learning for listen, you want to watch what's that movie that the short name of it is Thug. The Hate You Give. You want to watch a movie with
Thug. Amazing.
They did it on purpose in the poster. It's THUG on the sign. Wow. You want to watch a better version of The Hate You Give. Higher Learning is it. Is it a little dated for the 90s? Sure, but it delivers the same message while, it knows it's being heavy-handed because it's kind of it's in the dialogue. Another John Singleton movie. Four Brothers.
Right. Another good
underrated. One. Really good time. That's Mark Wahlberg. Help me out. The guy from what's his name? Andre 3000. What?
Tyrese Gibson and Garrett Hedlund, right?
Wasn't Andre 3000?
Oh, Andre Benjamin, yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, Andre Benjamin. I'm going by
yeah, Sofia Vergara. Oh, it's Chiwetel Ejiofor was in that movie. That's right.
Yeah, that's a really listen. It's not an A+ platinum movie, but it's a really good time. I would call it like a B+ A- movie. That's
I agree. I love that movie, man.
And again, he directed one of the more bright and vibrant Fast and the Furious movies, which was Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh, I loved it. It's one of the better ones. Let's be real. It's so good.
Sure. Now that we've had 15 of them, of course.
Right.
Well, I mean, I just love
Which is your favorite?
Like the weird relationship the two of them have the entire movie. It's like semi-homoerotic, but not really.
It's up there. It's up there as one of the gay subtext movies. It's like top 20 movies that aren't about a gay relationship, but it can be hard enough. Yeah, hard enough. Excuse me.
Hey.
I mean, obviously, Boys in the Hood. Like that's his. I think he was the first black director to be nominated for an Oscar. I think.
Let's find out. So, because it wasn't Sidney Poitier.
He directed something?
Oh, maybe not.
As a director. Yeah, no, him just for acting.
Yes, and so he also did direct
John
2000.
Singleton. Yeah, you're right. Damn.
He's the first black director to be nominated, right?
Yeah.
And that was for Boys in the Hood.
He also that same year he was up for best screenplay for Boys in the
Sorry,
Hood.
Jordan Peele.
Sorry.
More like Spike Lee.
Not true. Yeah. There you
go. Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch Boys in the Hood. I think either tonight or tomorrow. It's been a while. It's just such a good movie.
I'm wondering if that has a criterion because I don't think I own it, but I don't know. Do the Right Thing. I think just had a criterion. All those
great Spike Lee joint.
Yeah, all those urban movies from the late '80s, early '90s. I kind of confuse them sometimes. But what do you have his? Do you have his?
Yes.
I googled Boys in the Hood criterion, and the first thing to pop up is Boys in the Hood Laserdisc 1992 Criterion collection.
Wow! Yeah, so
I would love to own that.
You could probably get it for like $5.
So it's shame. Like I'm trying to see if I can find the price on this. I might just buy it out of.
Do you have his resume there, Lindsay?
His IMDb, I got it right here.
Shoot off. I think we kind of covered a lot. I don't know if there's anything I missed.
Well, he did a lot of Michael Jackson videos. Remember the Time, Greatest Hits. But then like Higher Learning was one of his first movies. Poetic Justice, his very first movie.
Poetic Justice. That's right. Yeah.
Good old JJ.
I didn't know Boys in the Hood was his first movie. That's interesting. But yeah, Poetic Justice was number 2.
That's actually there's some sort of the news story that I saw. He was recording some sort of, because I guess it's the 25th anniversary of Poetic Justice, and he did some sort of commentary or interview or something. So the new Poetic Justice Blu-ray or whatever that's coming out this year, they managed to get him for an interview for that. So that's really neat.
That's cool. Okay. But then like just lots of Too Fast, Too Furious. But then Shaft, that's about to get rebooted again, so that's noteworthy. You got Rosewood. But then a lot of TV, Billions, Snowfall, American Crime Story. He doesn't have the most extensive resume, but it's a very interesting one.
Yeah,
well, it's actually here of Poetic Justice 25th Anniversary Retrospective Feature with John Singleton. It's a short video. Yeah.
Okay.
He directed it too.
In the YouTube chat, they're bringing up Dead Presidents. Hi, Peter. That's the second time I've seen Dead Presidents come up. Who directed Dead Presidents?
Let me find out.
Maybe he wrote it or produced it or has something to do with it.
I swear that was a band. Was that not a band, Dead Presidents?
Yeah. Could be. No, you're right. Yeah. I think that was late 90s. Late 90s? No, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Maybe. What?
So I found a movie called Dead Presidents. It's a 1995 crime thriller, but it's direct. But Bokeem Woodbine's in it, and Keith David.
The Hughes brothers. The Hughes brothers. Thank you.
Yeah, Hughes brothers. Yeah, Albert Hughes and Michael Hughes, I think. No, just Albert Hughes. Oh, Albert and Alan. That's it, Alan.
Ah, okay. Whoa, yeah.
Oh, they also made Menace to Society. So.
Okay.
But did they make Don't Be a Menace in Southside while drinking?
No, they didn't. They do have similar shooting styles, though. Because I remember thinking Menace to Society and Higher Learning were both done by Singleton. So I could see the connection there. That's interesting.
Frame by frame, yeah.
What? Frame by frame?
I don't know.
Yeah, so a big loss to the film community. Again, he's got a smattering of films that are certainly worth time, to say the very least. I haven't seen the 2000 Shaft that he directed, but I'm certain I will. Yeah. As the sequel, I don't know what they're doing, a soft reboot, whatever the hell.
Well,
reimagining.
Sure. He directed From Hell?
No.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
The Johnny Depp Jack the Ripper film. That's
it's not on his IMDb.
In the
it's not under director. Maybe
So I'm reading the YouTube chat in a scattered way, and they're saying that the Hughes brothers directed From Hell.
There you go.
Okay.
So the Hughes brothers are fine. We're not going to talk about them anymore.
Yes, they're okay. Rest in peace, John Singleton.
Yes, certainly. Rest in
peace. Hope
you
make
John
films in heaven.
There you go. Yeah. So quickly before we swing over to the after show, Lindsay, read us the movies that are coming out this weekend and have no chance at coming in first.
Hey.
Well, obviously the one that's going to take the weekend is one. It's 600 screens from Briarcliff distributor El Chicano.
Yeah, good luck. I've been getting emails about that for months to go see it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not taking a train ride for that.
Such a local theater, no?
Oh, okay, moving on. Then we also have The Intruder, Long Shot, and Ugly Dolls.
All right. So, a good question, Fuego. We'll finish with that. How much do you think Endgame will drop? No specific. Just give us a percentage.
38%.
38%?
Yes.
I wish I had a calculator with me. I'm going to say it drops 42%.
42%.
Need a calculator.
Lindsay.
Need a calculator.
Lindsay, this is just a quick thing to say goodbye.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to say,
Let me call somebody. Can I use my lifeline?
45, but you know what? I think I'm gonna go. It's first instinct. 45%.
45%. So nobody thinks it gets cut in half or worse. So even that, if let's just call it 40%, that's about 200 million.
Yeah.
So we're fairly confident we're going to see the first $200 million second weekend.
Ooh, wait, that's a good Google.
There is no 200 million second weekend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There's none. There's only what, 4 movies that have done 200 million for the first weekend.
That's a very good question. It's a very good point.
It's either a Star Wars or an Avengers movie. That's as plain and simple as it is, because they have all those numbers.
Never mind. I'm not gonna be able to find this fast enough because the Google I did because it gave me drop offs. Okay, so never mind. So you're probably right.
Do you know? Drop that link again in the chat. So if you're watching on YouTube, this is the first time. This is our first week we're doing it, and this is going to be it from now on. The After Hours show will be on Dino's channel, which is the Late Horror Show. I'm hoping Dino, while I'm talking, can get that link in the chat so that you run over there, click and subscribe, and be able to find it without much discomfort. But I don't know how many other words I could use to describe this while Dino looks for that link.
Sorry. Yeah.
I can solve for time.
Yeah, it's After Hours.
It gets on everybody's nerves.
No.
Everybody's nerves. I know a song that gets on everybody's nerves, and this is how it goes.
My copy and paste didn't work, so I got to do it over. But
So the After Hours will be a bit more stretched of this, and you'll have an R-rated experience. Dino flying off the cuff, curses, Peter giving. And nudity. Peter takes his shirt off, and there it is. All right, so just click there. Don't forget to click subscribe and get those notifications. And we'll see you there in a couple of minutes. Lindsay, any last words before we go?
Just make sure to bell so you can get that bell stuff. You can't YouTube without the bell stuff.
So they say. Hey.
All right, so we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Okay. In a few.